Will Greenland be bought or taken? Right now, the US is openly pushing the idea of America controlling Greenland, and it's not ruling out force. Denmark is calling this a fateful moment and are obviously worried. Greenland's parties are saying in plain language, we don't want to be Americans, we want to be Greenlanders. So what's actually going on here? Is this a real plan, a negotiation tactic, or the start of something that could crack NATO? Here is some basic information about Greenland. It has its own government and runs most domestic affairs, but it's still part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Denmark handles defense and foreign policy, and Greenlanders have a legal path to independence if the people vote for it. And crucially, Greenland already hosts a major US military presence. So if the US already has access, why would Washington want ownership? Because Greenland is the Arctic's choke point. Look at a map. It sits between North America and Europe. That's why it mattered in World War II, why it mattered in the Cold War, and why it matters again today. Missiles, radar, space tracking, submarine routes, the North Atlantic approaches. Greenland is a strategic lid on the region, and the Arctic is heating up politically because it's literally heating up physically. As ice melts, access changes for shipping, mining, infrastructure, and military needs also need adjustment. This is where the argument splits into two camps in US politics. On the hard security side, the pitch is simple. Great power competition is back. Russia is active in the Arctic. China wants leverage. Greenland is too important to leave to chance. Supporters frame it as prevention. If America doesn't lock it down, rivals will creep in through investment, ports, airports, contracts, and influence. On the opposing side, largely Democrats, plus plenty of establishment Republicans and alliance-minded conservatives, the view is, this is reckless. Greenland isn't for sale. The people don't want it. Denmark won't allow it. And even talking about force is a poke in the eye of NATO. The core point is this. You don't defend the West by threatening to seize territory from your own ally. Now, here's what most people don't know. The US has tried to buy Greenland before. In 1946, the Truman administration reportedly offered Denmark $100 million in gold for Greenland. The logic behind the offer was, the shortest route between superpowers goes over the pole. Denmark rejected this offer, but the US still got its strategic needs met through a defense agreement. That's why the modern push looks strange. The US already has a footprint and a base in Greenland. If you want the full breakdown of what's real, what's spin, and what happens next, like the video, comment your take, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story is moving fast. So what changed since 1946? 3 things. 1. The Arctic is now a bigger theater, not just for the US and Russia, but for supply chains that depend on critical minerals and high-tech components. 2. The US is worried that its opponents investing in infrastructure and gaining a foothold in the Greenland economy. And 3, climate changes the map. Melting doesn't mean Greenland becomes an easy gold mine. Mining there is brutal, expensive, and politically sensitive. But melting does mean the Arctic becomes more maneuverable, more surveilled, and more militarily relevant. Now the ugliest question. Could the US take Greenland by force? In pure capability terms, the US can project force almost anywhere, but capability isn't the point. Consequences are the point. Greenland is tied to Denmark. Denmark is NATO. A forced move detonates trust across the alliance and hands rivals a propaganda win on a silver plate. It also destroys the rules-based order argument the West uses against territorial conquest. Which is why the most likely reality is this. The own Greenland talk is leverage and signaling to Denmark, to Greenland, to NATO, to rivals, and to domestic audiences. So what happens next? Here are the realistic outcomes. 1. More US presence without ownership. More funding, more consular activity, more military upgrades, more joint surveillance. 2. NATO tries to calm the situation by boosting Arctic security, basically saying, fine, we'll address the threat, but we're not annexing anything. 3. Greenland pushes harder for independence, because this kind of pressure reminds Greenlanders they don't want to be a bargaining chip between powers. And the least realistic outcome is an actual purchase, because Greenlanders don't want it and Denmark won't sell it. At the end of the day, This is a test of whether alliances still mean anything. Comment. Is this strategic or bluff? Subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm tracking this story as it develops.